Hi everyone, welcome to Fresh Look Fridays, Scrapbooking's hottest news and review show. I'm Megan Grabner, your host, and I'm very excited to be sharing with you all kinds of tips, tricks, and secrets in the scrapbooking industry. This is the premiere episode, so I want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're very excited to be talking a little bit about the Cricut Expression machine and what you need for getting started. There are a lot of new Cricut owners out there, and we have a lot of great products here that we're really excited to talk about, give you a little bit of review, tips, tricks, other things about. Some of you may be familiar with them already. For some others, it's going to be a whole new world, so I'm very excited. Let's get started. With all of the Cricut Expressions and machines that went out just this past Christmas alone, I thought this would be really great for people that are either just getting started or have been a long-time user of the Cricut machines. We're going to talk a little bit about some different things that you're going to want to have on your desk, such as the Cricut spatula. This is a great tool to have very close and handy when you're working with especially tiny pieces, fresh mats, all those little things. Having a spatula, ProvoCraft creates one that you can just use very simply, very easily, very handy. Bone folders are a really great thing to have on hand. I love fine point needle nose scissors. These are color bees. These scissors have a very fine point. These color bees are from EK Success. They're very useful tools for sometimes when that Cricut blade doesn't quite cut through the paper all the way. You'll want something like this on hand. Tweezers are a great thing to have on hand as well for those little tiny pieces that you can glue down and place down. One of the first products that we're going to talk about is something to refurbish or restick your Cricut cutting mat. This is Stick Away and Stick and Spray from Crafter's Companion. These are my favorite products for using with my Cricut Expression cutting mats. I use the Stick Away spray to remove all of my excess adhesive and gunk and goo that builds up over time and makes the mat no longer sticky. You normally think you have to throw it out. Well, not anymore. No more buying new mats. You can go ahead and purchase this Stick Away spray, clean off all that junk, and then refurbish the cutting mat by covering the outside edge of the cutting mat and spraying this right on the cutting area, the white area of the Cricut cutting mat. It's very quick and simple to do. There are tutorial instructions on AboveRubyStudio.com for actually using these products, but an A+ for refurbishing your cutting mat. I want to talk to you a little bit about Cricut cutting tools. There is a toolkit available from ProvoCraft. It has a little Cricut head on here. And when you open it up, inside it has some of these things that I already talked about. It does have a few extra things that are very helpful and handy. There's a place for your extra blades. Here's your fine needle nose scissors, fine point scissors. Here's a scraper that's going to help you really remove that gunk using the Stick Away spray. There's a bone folder in here. There are a few other things such as a pick. There is a little spatula, a knife, and a ruler. All very wonderful things. My complaint with it is it doesn't hold your Cricut spatula very well. I kind of tend to squish mine in there real tight and zipper it up. Not a big deal, but the spatula is a must and it doesn't fit inside the actual toolkit. So that's my only complaint with that. However, I have discovered the new pink Seagull toolkit. This is available online and you can just Google search Seagull toolkit and you will find it. You can open it up. It has a little magnetic thing. It's not a zipper, so it's not quite closed, so if things start loosening up in this foam over time, I am a little worried that they'll fall out. Not quite sure about that, but you know, it's a pretty decent magnetic hold there. Just doesn't seal all the way around with that zipper. There are a lot more tools available in here. There are 2 different spatulas in this toolkit, which I think are really handy and awesome. You have your larger one. It's not as large as the one that ProvoCraft makes and sells, but it's still pretty nice. I actually really like this finer one. It has a little bit of a bend in the head. It's another spatula option. There are 2 different kinds of hooks and things that you can be using for your different tools, to kind of help you with weeding, help you with your vinyl, help you with other things. There's also a craft knife that's in here. There's a set of tweezers in here, and they are very fine tip tweezers. You have to take off this little edge and tweeze. Very helpful. There is a little place down here for replacement blades for your craft knife. There is no place for the replacement blades for the Cricut, but I'm sure that you could put replacement Cricut blades in that little compartment as well. There is a pink bone folder, again, your scissors, and then it also has 2 scrapers. So one you could be using for removing, another one you could be using as a burnishing tool. The one has more of an angle to it than the other one that is just a straight on scraper. The thing about this, it is bigger than the ProvoCraft one. Again, like I said, it is missing the zipper all the way around. And I feel like the other thing that I wish that this held, that this one does, is a ruler. I wish that there was a little place for a ruler, because I really like having that 6-inch ruler on hand. It's helpful and handy for a lot of different things. So those are the 2 different toolkits that are available specifically for the Cricut machine. Now, of course, you can go out and buy all of your things individually. I think if you can use a coupon or something along those lines, or find a sale on these toolkits, you're going to save money in the long run, as opposed to going and buying one thing here or there. If you want to build your collection up over time, use coupons at your larger stores, and you will be able to, get these things a little bit more reasonably, just building them up over time. So those are the majors and kind of the basic things that you're really going to want. Another thing that I feel is really important and something to talk about is storage for your Cricut cartridges. Over time, you're going to build up quite a collection, or you may already have a collection at home. And storage is always something that I find important. Some people like having all of their boxes lined up on their shelves and have space for that and things. I'm not one that necessarily likes having all that clutter of all those boxes, having to pull things out. But I want a solution that's going to be able to let me find my Cricut cartridges easily, my handbooks conveniently, and I don't have to go on a hunt to find everything by having it all just kind of thrown into a bucket or something like that. One of the options is the Scrap Caddy from Scrap Accessories. This has a closable lid. It holds 8 cartridges, and you can see exactly what they are right on the front, with all of the 8 handbooks and overlays that go right with these cartridges. They have a tray system that allows you to put in just cartridges. You can line up a bunch of the cartridge trays right in here, put your handbooks in a different box or in a different location, and you can hold up to 48 cartridges in one caddy, stick it on your shelf, and you can easily pull out each tray and find your cartridges. And these are very small boxes that sit right on your desk or on a shelf. Very convenient. Another option is from Siegel as well. This is something that I recently purchased, and I do like it from some standpoints. I feel like there's some pros and cons. It's a great bag. It is a kind of fake leather. It has a lot of room on the inside. There's even little pen compartments and things, and a couple extra little spots and spaces for your different tools that you may use for scrapbooking, which is great for going to crops and different things. However, I can't organize my handbooks in here quite as nicely and neatly as I would like to be able to. You can store 72 cartridges in this bag. This front and back zipper opens up, and it has little tiny elastic compartments that each of your cartridges just slip right into. You can see what cartridges you have very easily. The compartments that are available, you can throw your handbooks and overlays in compartments like these in the front, and there's 2 smaller compartments on the inside here that would allow for you to be able to put in, again, your handbooks and your overlays. But it's not very convenient, and it's not very easy to find and organized for your handbooks or overlays. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit more organized, I feel like the Scrap Caddies are the way to go. If you're looking for something that really is small, a little bit more on the go, and you just are okay with throwing things like your handbooks and overlays into something, the Siegel is a pretty nice tool, and it holds a ton of cartridges. So you have those different options. There are other things out there, and we will be reviewing them in later episodes of Fresh Look Friday. A couple other tips and tricks that we're going to talk about is the Cricut Cutting Guide. If you're new to AboveRubyStudio.com, or if you've never been over there before, the Cricut Cutting Guide is a great tool that lists all of your major paper brands and materials that you can cut with your Cricut machine, and exactly what blade depth, speed, and pressure to use. There are over 5,000 settings listed in this cutting guide, and there are 3 different ways to get your hands on it. One, you can go to AboveRubyStudio.com right now and download your 22-page copy for free. It's a wonderful thing. The other thing that's available is this bound version of the cutting guide. It's available in many retail locations. It's a nice, easy, convenient, thin size that you can keep right on your desk or right next to or slightly under your Cricut machine so that you have it on hand. There's also a space in this guide to add in your own settings. So if you find a paper that's missing or another material that you want to remember, you can write it in here. Easy and convenient to always remember. No more ripping, tearing paper, wasting money. We want to save that, so that's another option. The third option is brand new. We have the iPhone app. Go to the App Store and just search for Cricut Cutting Guide, and it will come up in your screen. You can download it right there and have it convenient for use at all times. The final thing we want to talk about for this episode of Fresh Look Friday is our adhesives that you're going to want to be using with your Cricut. I have several that are favorites and have become favorites over time. My ultimate in quick, easy adhesive is the Xyron Sticker Maker. This is the 2.5-inch sticker maker. You can literally take your tiny little pieces, anything up to 2.5 inches wide, stick it right in here in this little opening. You turn the crank on the side, right on through, and right out the back pops your little sticker. Okay, you can just peel it off and put it right onto your project. Very, very simple, especially when you're doing things with thin intricacies like letters and other things like that. Really works well. Another great thing that I love, especially with the Cricut, is this Zig Squeeze and Roll two-way pen. This is the pen tip point. I absolutely love it because it allows you to squeeze out the glue as you write and get around those fine edges and corners and do things. The reason it's a two-way glue is because it has two purposes. When it's blue, it's wet, and you adhere it surface to surface, it's a permanent hold, it's a permanent bond. However, when you apply it to one surface, wait for it to dry clear, after about 2 or 3 minutes, it becomes a repositionable hold. So you can place it on there, allow it to dry, and then adhere it to your project, and if you're not quite happy with it, move it around a few times. It's the great thing about the Zig pen. There's also the Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive, and this is great. It's acid-free, it's great for your photos. It does set very quickly. It is a quick dry glue. You don't have a lot of mess around time, and it's really wonderful. There's also not a lot of bending, curling, or wrinkling of your paper with this glue as well, so it works very wonderfully that way if you're looking for a liquid adhesive. Now we're going to talk about something that's become a little bit more my favorite over time here, is this Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. There is a precision tip on one end, and on the other end, there is a little bit more of a broad tip, so you get two great different tips out of one little container, which is always awesome and always handy. There are different tips available for this Zig two-way as well, but this has 2 in 1. Also has the wonderful feature with this Tombow is the removable and permanent adhesive as well. So when it's wet and you adhere it surface to surface, right when you apply it, it's going to be a permanent hold. When you wait for it to dry on one surface, after about 2 or 3 minutes, depending on the thickness, you are going to get a repositionable hold. So really wonderful thing. Something that I have found to be a great tip with this glue that you can't necessarily do with this Zig is take a standard pen, any type of pen, retractable tip, something like that. On the opposite end of where you write from, this click end here, I applied using the broad tip, just sort of ran some glue right around that outer corner, outer edge. I waited for it to dry, literally only took 5 or 10 minutes or so. And then I have an instant way of being able to pick up things like pebbles, buttons, okay, or even rhinestones or gems, okay? So you could do this on different things, and that works really, really wonderful with this Tombow Mono Multi-Glue. You can clean off the end of the pen when you're done, or just stick it in your workspace and come back to it again later. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you again soon at Fresh Look Fridays.